Hi everybody, how are you? It is 11:30 a.m. Tuesday morning. It's really dark in here. Actually, I don't usually do these in my office. I try usually to go into a brighter room. So I apologize, it's a little bit dark today here. Let's see if we can fix the lighting a little bit. There we go. Now I can see you a little bit better. Hopefully you can see me a little bit better. All right, so we are here today to talk about this week's question thread, which is all of your questions about nightmares versus night terrors. Now, I knew this wasn't going to be a huge discussion this week because I know most of you have babies that are up, and that's the biggest thing that you want to discuss. But I figured I would open up this thread a little because I know a lot of you do have toddlers and older children as well, in case any of you did have questions. But we only got one. So I'm going to go through it, and anyone else who comes on now and does have questions about this topic, definitely let me know. Okay, so it's really, really dark in here. Here we go. Hopefully that will stay good like that. Sorry about the lighting today, everyone. All right, so Amanda asked, I definitely need advice for this topic. My 3.5-year-old daughter appears to have nightmares and wakes up crying for us every night. She tells me about her bad dreams and then feels scared in her room alone. Every night she comes to find me or my husband after being asleep for an average of 3 to 4 hours. She says she's scared to sleep alone. We have fallen into the pattern where my husband ends up sleeping in her bed with most of the night. Otherwise, she'll wake up again if we leave her bed. We use a noise machine, a projector. She has stuffed animals. We leave the door halfway open, but nothing has worked. Help. Okay, so Amanda, let's talk a little bit about what is happening. And I know Maury also had a question here about this. Maury, you and I can always discuss in more detail if you want. But first and foremost, let's talk about what nightmares are versus night terrors, because I wasn't sure if a lot of you had questions as to what the differences of those two are. You know what, I'm going to actually move into a different room. Let's take this because the darkness is really bothering me. So you're going to come with me over here. We're going to come, because I'm working from home today in the home office, and hopefully you'll be able to see me. We'll turn on the lights, and it will be a lot brighter over here. Okay, there we go. All right. Now you can hopefully see me a lot better. The darkness was really bothering me. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about what the difference is between nightmares and night terrors, because that's kind of where I thought maybe this question thread would go a little bit. First of all, night terrors is when a child wakes up head banging, screaming, kind of seems like they're totally out of reality and nowhere near our reality. It's often very difficult to talk to them. It's difficult to get their attention. It's difficult to kind of use any form of logic because kids will scream, they'll pull hair, they'll bite. It seems like, Amanda, your question is not on night terrors, but I just want to address that for a minute. If you're ever concerned a child is having night terrors usually doesn't happen before the 2.5-year-old mark. If you're ever nervous that your child is suffering from night terrors, you have to help them feel their physical reality, because you can't teach a child to sleep when they're not physically cognitively aware of the world around them or what's going on with them. So usually I recommend, kind of pressing down on their body, using kind of sensory diet types of ideas to help actually get them in the mode of understanding where they are to help them transition back to sleep. But most children do not have night terrors. Most children have nightmares, like you said, Amanda. But even what you did talk about, Amanda, is I'm pretty convinced you don't have full-fledged nightmares. It's more of just kind of an anxiety that has developed, or really more a fear of sleeping alone, because she could tell you about her bad dreams. She could tell you about all the different things that are happening. She could tell you about that her stomach hurts, but at the end of the day, she's developed a sleep dependency on wanting you, wanting your husband, wanting you in her bed, wanting to be in your bed. We're going to talk about this a lot next week. Next week's question thread is all about toddlers and older children coming out of their beds and into your beds in the middle of the night. But at the end of the day, she has developed a sleep dependency to constantly want your intervention, constantly want to be with you, and constantly want your help to sleep. So what do you do to help kind of go against this? And Maury, this was with your question as well. Number one is to make a child feel secure. Make sure, a lot of times you can use kind of psychological silly ideas like a certain spray, that's the anti-monster spray, and spread it around the room, or have a certain sign on the door, no scary dreams allowed, or tummy aches not allowed here. With one of my kids at a certain point, I think he must have been 4, we had special pajamas where I took red electrical tape and literally made an X over his stomach and said, tummy aches are not allowed here on these pajamas with this special tape. You can use different ideas. It's basically, at the end of the day, empowering them to feel like they are in control of their fears. That's really what it is, but you can use different ideas to help get them over that hump and to that point of feeling better about it. That's number one. Number two is use incentives. Try to go to the store and buy little M&Ms or a little sticker or a little chart and tell them, if you stay in your bed the whole night, you're going to get this every single morning. And set it up technically, and I talk about this a lot. But at the end of the day, you want to technically set it up that your child cannot come out. And when they call to you, come to them. And come there, Amanda, and help her. But what I want you to do, Amanda, is I want you to come to her sleeping space, not her always needing to come to your sleeping space. The second you hear her starting to come out of her bed, the second you hear her protesting, the second you hear her starting to call you, I want you to come to her and comfort her. So at the end of the day, she's still going to get that treat. She's still going to get that prize every morning because you are technically setting it up in a way where she's always going to be successful. Next week, I want you to do that till we hop on our call next week, because next week's going to be all about in detail how to actually phase you out of the picture and have her, fine, she needs you when in the middle of the night and you come to her, but how to actually get you involved less and less and less so she can get to that point of full independence with her sleep. But it gets to a point first of just making sure she feels confident, making sure she feels empowered by helping her control her fears and letting her be the one in charge of it so she feels better about it, Amanda. And also understanding that this fear is a little bit of a mechanism, whether it's a real anxiety or something she's developed or something she just sees works. It's a way that she gets you to come to her, or a way she gets you to sleep with her. So you want to not negate the fear, not pretend it doesn't exist, but really, really address it and let her feel controlling over it and let her feel like she really has the power to overcome the fear by using these ideas like a spray or the pajamas idea I told you, or a sign or things like that. Call the grandparents, let them know how big she is, and then technically setting her up successfully so she can feel like she's doing well and like $1 million in the process, giving her a treat every morning, doing a sticker chart, doing something like that, and making it in such a way where she's only going to be successful because you're not allowing her to come out of her bed. You're coming to her sleeping space. She's not coming to yours. Doing all of those things coupled with the positivity. Never use sleep as a form of punishment. Never do any of those things, but it sounds like you're not, Amanda. But you want to make sure that whatever you do, you are setting it up in a way that's positively going to help her associate sleep with getting this positive treat, with feeling like $1 million, with feeling empowered. So that way it's going to help her. So let me know if you have questions on that, Amanda, or Maury, if you're on here, if you have more questions about what's going on with your older daughter. But that's basically that. Now, I wanted to just talk to you for a few minutes in case anyone who hops on here now, if you're watching live or the replay, definitely hit me up in the questions below. You can hit a comment if you have questions about nightmares or night terrors. But like I said, next week we're going to delve really deep with kids coming out of their beds in the middle of the night and toddlers and all those different things that are in beds or climbing out of their cribs. That's always a fun one. We're going to talk about all those different things. I did it this Tuesday because tomorrow I'm not available, and I knew this thread was not going to be a major thread. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 9 p.m., we are running a free sleep workshop. It's going to be live. If you haven't signed up yet, I'm going to post the link above as soon as I'm done with this live video. You definitely want to grab a spot. And what it is a lot of the ideas are going to be familiar to a lot of you because I talk a lot about the importance of them when I answer your questions, when I come in and answer these threads. But I'm going to walk you through my entire 3-step system that I use to help baby sleep, toddler sleep without reverting to cry it out. And even if you are pro cry it out, this is still going to help you because you're going to gain a lot of base ideas of what you can do. It's the exact 3-step system I use with all of my one-on-one clients that I work with. And I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of the Rested Moms Club and how it's going to apply. I'm going to tell you about all the bonuses. And I am going to be offering a really special, aside from discount, I'll give you a little bit of a hint as to what we're going to be doing tomorrow night. The first 10 people who grab a spot in the Rested Moms Club are going to get a free call with me, so that way you can make sure that you actually are able to get the sleep you need and have a one-on-one call with me to help guide you through the system. Chrissy, I did just talk about night terrors. I'm sorry. Tell me your question, though. I'm happy to be here for a few more minutes, Chrissy. Tell me how old your child is, a little bit about what's going on with your child, if you feel it's a nightmare, if you feel it's a night terror. I can kind of revisit it a little bit. But while you're typing that up, just to recap, a lot of people feel that their child's having night terrors when in essence it's just nightmares. Night terrors looks like your child is possessed, literally. Screaming, headbanging, no one's home, biting, pulling hair. They're kind of all over the place. Versus a nightmare, waking up, I'm scared, there's a monster, I don't know what to do, I want to sleep with you. That's the difference between nightmares and night terrors. I mainly spoke about nightmares because that was Amanda's question that she posted. Night terrors, though, we do treat differently. Just to recap for you, Chrissy, night terrors, we have to physically help a child feel a sense of being thwarted back into their reality. Sometimes we have to hold them really, really tight, squeeze their shoulders, allow them to feel back in their reality. Sometimes we have to talk to them to jolt them out of it, give them a drink of water, do something to help them. Your son just turned 2 and he doesn't get night terrors often, maybe once a couple weeks. They're very violent. There you go. Night terrors are usually very violent as opposed to nightmares, which are just fear related. They're very violent. He looks awake, but he isn't awake. Is there a way to calm him down? Yes. Okay, so I'm happy you brought this up. So let's talk about what to do. Number 1, even though infrequent, they're scary. They're scary as a parent to witness these night terrors. So what I want you to do is go into his room when you see him and be there for him. I want you to hold him, pick him up, and hug him really, really tight, like a bear hug. Because when you hug him really tight, that's going to help him feel secure physically, which can sometimes mentally make a switch go on that, oh, I'm here. The second you start feeling his body calm down, not before, when he's still violently tantruming and flailing arms, hold him like a bear hug on your lap. You're in essence restraining him, but you're restraining him lovingly because you're holding him on your lap like a hug. And the second you start feeling his body relaxing, he's starting to go down to sleep, place him back either in his crib or in his bed, wherever you have him sleeping, and calm him down to help fall asleep, even with still having a little bit of light pressure. Light pressure on his head, light pressure on his shoulders, light pressure on his legs. That's going to help him feel back in his body. And why I say back in his body is because what's happening when they have a night terror. Bye, Safira. Thank you. When they're having a night terror, what often happens is they're so fully engrossed in this scary dream or this nightmare or this alternate reality that's not really there that they actually physically and emotionally remove themselves from their current reality. So what you do is by using that physical pressure, you can help get him back. And if you do that if it only happens infrequently every few weeks, Chrissy, doing that consistently will help him actually get over the hump that won't happen anymore, okay? But if you have a question on nightmares, definitely rewind if you're watching the replay to what I answered to Amanda to help get over those nightmares, because nightmares can often turn into actual sleep dependencies or sometimes full-fledged anxieties, okay? So I'm going to hop out now. I'm going to post the link in tomorrow night's webinar, free sleep workshop that we're going to be having. And like I said, I'm going to walk you through my whole 3-step system. You're going to get details on the Rested Moms Club. The Rested Moms Club is the entire method that I use start to finish with all my one-on-one clients, but it's going to be there at your fingertips available. We're going to have weekly question answer sessions with me. You're going to email me. I'm going to outline everything in detail for you what to do. We're going to have a private Facebook group, kind of like this one, but much more in depth, much more of my hand holding throughout the process because you'll be in my system. And I'm really excited I'm really excited to run you through this. I've been working on this Rested Moms Club tirelessly, no pun intended, for weeks on end now. So I'm really excited to get it going. Chrissy, you are welcome. Let me know how it goes. And I hope you all have an amazing Tuesday. I hope to see as much of you as possible tomorrow night. I'm going to try to have the workshop also hosted here in the Facebook group for those of you who don't get in, but I can't promise because I'm working on the technical stuff. So definitely if you want to get the emails and make sure that you're signed up properly, you want to register at the link above because there is not going to be a replay, all right? I'm not posting a replay because whoever signs up and gets into the Rested Moms Club, and whoever wants to ask me direct questions, we're going to have a whole Q&A session at the end. So definitely you'll want to check that out, all right? I hope to see you all there, anyone who's interested in getting some sleep, and have a great Tuesday. Talk to you tomorrow.